All right, friends. Today is Monday, the 24th of August, 2020. My name is Michael Eschenburg, honest aim, and this is your daily horoscope. We've got the moon in the later degrees of Scorpio. All right. Now, Scorpio again, sex, money, power, Scorpio. If you came from Sunday's horoscope, we're still following along the same vein. We're still dealing with highlighting our own addictions, things where we have had power struggles, okay, or where we've given our power away, where we don't feel enough of something, and now it's time to we're taking that energy back, right? So, the moon is making a lot of connections today, as well as Mercury. Mercury is touching a lot. So there's a lot about our mental awareness, okay, our insight. And again, being in the sign of Virgo, it means we're extremely focused, okay, which focus is an amazing, amazing thing. It means we're, finite. This isn't, a large, swimming pool. This is a small basketball hoop. It's a small thing, or a laser, type of pinpoint, fine point pen, not a big broad stroke fatty marker. Okay, so we're getting focused, getting serious about whatever's going on in our lives, about whatever the topic may be that we're getting serious about. All right, which could deal with emotions, because we have a grand water trine happening today. So the moon over there in the later degrees of Scorpio, okay, forming a trine over there to Neptune in Pisces, home in Pisces, also creating a trine down there to Venus in Cancer. Okay, Venus in Cancer, again, what we value. What do we value? What do we value? We value emotions. We value feelings, okay? And these feelings saying, why didn't I value myself? Okay, because I valued someone else's opinion. And because I valued somebody else's opinion, and their maybe opinion wasn't a view of their opinion of me might not have been my opinion of myself, and their opinion matters more than the opinion of myself. We've put them too high, right? So Scorpio 8th house is about, the accumulative. What's mine is yours, and yours is mine. And again, so this is word of mouth kinds of things. And well, if this person says Jimmy's not cool, you're out of the club, Jimmy. It's like, well, hey, man, Jimmy did a lot of really good positive things for the group. I don't know. So the moon over there in Scorpio, where are we giving away our power? Where do we need to take things back? Where have we felt that we needed to make a connection with somebody else to gain social status quo? We're moving up the chain because of a popularity thing, or we're bringing this person on our team because they're popular or cool or whatever it is. And then it turns out that they actually weren't the best for the project, or the best for whatever it is, or the best for ourselves. Okay, so we're learning, where do we betray ourselves? Okay, where do we betray ourselves? These deep-rooted emotions. Now, so we value ourselves. We value the relationship with ourselves, right? In 4th house, home, the temple. All right, this is an extension of self here in the temple. My emotional body. Neptune, our dreams, our imagination, that big black hole of the abyss, the unknown, all right? So all three of these creating this water trine today is extremely powerful. Further so because we're creating a grand kite. Now, if you remember, we had a grand kite the other day. It was a fire kite with the north node being the point. Okay, so the point saying seeking information, seeking new knowledge. The possibility is that we were wrong, that we are all wrong about something. Any given subject or a particular instance we could have certainly been wrong about. And again, this is about going back to the drawing board, right? So we're going from fire and air to now water and earth kite, okay? And this particular kite here at 17, 20, 16, pretty much almost 17, and 17 here is pointing to Jupiter, okay? So we have this overflow, easy flow, okay, and secure. Remember that this isosceles triangle is the safest structure, strongest structure that we know of in nature, okay? Equal parts on all sides. Unlike a square, it can't fold in from a corner. Okay, so this is a very strong emotional connection that we are having, and with what? To Jupiter. So Neptune and the moon are both pointing to Jupiter, okay, and Jupiter says what? Jupiter says to expand. All right, now this is a tricky aspect in the sign of Capricorn because Saturn says no, there's no more. You've used every single roll, every single piece of the toilet paper, there's no more. Figure it out. I don't know why we're going with toilet paper for this. It just came out. All right. But it's like we've used our resources. We've utilized our resources. What we have is what we have. How are we going to figure out a way to make it work? How are we going to figure out a way to make this love work? How do we figure out a way to make us appreciate ourselves or value ourselves to a greater degree, or to value our emotional body, or to put our feelings in a respectable way above other people's when it's concerning with self? Again, North Node in Gemini, we have to be seeking our own truth. Okay, we have to be seeking our own happiness, and I don't mean that in a negative, selfish, egotistical, I'm better than you, anything kind of like that. It's a very healthy balance of what's going on. All right. So Jupiter says, I want to expand. I want more practicality. I want more work, more discipline. These are what Saturn is going to say yes to. Yes, more boundaries. Yes, I love boundaries, says Capricorn, says Saturn. We can define these, because here with our boundaries, we're creating a guardrail. Okay. And without these boundaries, emotional boundaries, and this guardrail, what can happen is you can cross my boundaries, okay? Or the car, right? If there's a mountain on one side and a cliff on the other, and we're putting up this guardrail, these are our boundaries. We want to be safe. We don't want somebody to fly off the cliff and who knows what could happen there, or hit this mountain. You know what I mean? So these boundaries are extremely important that we're creating for ourselves right now, emotional boundaries. All right, and again, it deals with expansiveness. It deals with a need to come back to our own power. It deals with value. And well, how can we do this? How can we work this out? How can we communicate? How can we make sense of this? Communicate, we're going to get there in a second. So again, Jupiter says more structure, more discipline on self, more boundaries, more definitive lines. Okay, that's what Jupiter wants right now with all of this emotions, because if we can bring this emotion stuff into the air, sweep it out from underneath the rug, and define what it is and where it needs to go. Okay, now let's get to Mercury. Mercury here, as you see, is creating some challenging aspects to these big three up here, which they go all in line with what I was just communicating about: boundaries, discipline, structure, order, rules of ourselves. Okay, we're changing the laws of ourselves. We're changing how we govern ourselves. We're changing the order, our order of how we, from the time we wake up in the morning to the time we go to sleep. We're applying, and we will be by the time this year is over. I guarantee you, if you look at your life by January or December of 2020 compared to where you were in January, I guarantee you're going to have a new set of practices, daily practices that we're implementing. Okay, that's what the astrology is telling us right now to do, right? Believe in ourselves, all this beautiful fiery Leo energy that we just had. Now we're getting focused. So much releasing of knowledge that doesn't hold, that doesn't serve us. How high is the limit? Neptune says it's completely possible to go beyond whatever we know, and that connection with Saturn, right? So this is like a glorious year. Okay, and that seems weird to say that and hard to see all the silver linings, but somebody sent a good friend of mine sent me this today, and he said, let me see if I can get it right. When you're being pulled back like an arrow, a bow and arrow, okay, when we feel that resistance being pulled back on us, individuals, society as a whole, okay, that's the arrow being drawn back for what's going to happen. Great release and speed moving forward to hit a target, okay? Mercury, Sun, and Virgo. We're moving forward to hit that target, okay? Mars and Aries, all right? Let's go. Let's make it happen, okay? So it's like there's resistance and drawback and drawback and drawback, but at the end of this, there's the great release and then the bullseye, okay? So we will get there. It's just a matter of when. And when on an individual basis or when in a community and globe at large. All right, so let me wrap this up here. Mercury Mercury, you know, again, like we just talked about, the structure, the discipline, the boundaries, okay, which means we have to communicate it. This is a sesqui-square here. This is balance, my friends. Sesqui-squares, okay? That is about balance. And if we don't communicate in precise detail, our boundaries, our barricades will be run over. And somebody, something will get hurt, okay? And what are we talking about getting hurt? Our emotions, okay? Because we value our emotions. And look at this. Now, the one positive, really positive aspect of the day here is this Venus sextile to Mercury. Okay, so we have this strong emotional pull, this restructuring and boundaries, this communication happening and communicating that of which we value of our emotions and how to lay down the law, lay down the line in communicating our emotions so that it's clear, cut, and dry, so that there's no confusion. There's no fine print to read here, okay? Now we've also got Mercury quincunx to Chiron. And Mercury, sesqui-square over here to Eris. So, you know, when the information comes in, how we choose to deal with it, again, focused, right? And whatever's coming in, if we allow it to, it will offer some sort of healing. All right, so we can guarantee there's a beautiful sense of healing going on with this emotional water trine. We still have Uranus creating the sextile to Neptune as well during this grand water trine. So there is that sense of breakthrough, that aha, eureka moment when we add Uranus into the mix, okay? So that's extremely important. So it's like boundaries and breakthroughs and emotions and understanding the deeper roots of our nature and our own power struggles, our own, you know, we are sexual beings, right? Everyone on this planet is alive from an orgasm. And that gets another thing. It's just like, yes, you know, so it's like not denying ourselves of our own sexuality, you know, and our emotions, and again, valuing all these things. So this is a deep day, starting off this week with some like heavy but really beautiful and powerful energy that's allowing for this transformation. Again, Scorpio is about transformation, okay? And then as the moon continues on, it's going to create the sextiles and septiles to Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn. So the work that we do in the top of the day gets rewarded by the evening, all right? This is a cool way to start the week, man. I'm really excited because like we get some of this heavy stuff out now, and then the week kind of lightens up and structure throughout the middle is you know, Capricorn energy and all that stuff, and then an Aquarius weekend. So it's a beautiful start to a week. All right, enjoy it as always. I appreciate you. I love you. I wish you enough, and we'll see you tomorrow.